Welcome to the next session of corporate communication. And today's session is on business proposal. Dear students, in the previous session of corporate communication, we saw something with respect to business plan. Now, obviously, there might be a question which might be running in your mind. What is the difference between a business plan and a business proposal? Let me tell you, business plan is a document that generally it's long and in which you explain your business, how it works, you explain your marketing plan, you tell your competitive advantage, you have a timeline, and in this timeline, how is that you see the different stages of the product or services, and how is your business going to do in these different stages. I think that this is a great way to brainstorm and figure out how we want to do our business. But at the same time, it's a long document and it ends up in a drawer, and especially people don't really use it after it has been prepared. I think it's a great at the beginning stages, but as and when you it's great at the beginning stages, and especially it is much more greater when you are looking out for a loan or you're looking out for a grant. But after that, you need to have a small document which keeps on telling you about your business and the different components of it. So that is where the business proposal comes into picture. The business proposal is the way of seeing your business, the different components of it, and how they interact with each other. Business proposal is the way you see your business work. You have key partners, you have your customers, you have a cost structure, and when you figure out all that you have is pretty much big, and how this business is going to work for you. This document can be as good as 1 to 2 pages, and something where you can probably stick it onto your wall or a notice board, or somewhere where you can keep it on a or onto your desk, or where you can probably see it on a regular basis. It generally doesn't get into the drawer, it doesn't get into a closed where you don't have to see it for a long time. This business proposal is generally something which you would probably go through it on a everyday basis. I advise every business should have a business proposal with them so that they keep on working on what is that they are doing. Let's move on to how to write a business proposal. I'm not going to tell you the different business proposals, but what I'm going to do here in today's session is how to write a business proposal is something which we are going to focus on from the corporate communication perspective. A well-written proposal begins just like writing anything else, by gathering information. Business proposal components can vary based on industry, it varies on the company size, and many other factors. But let's look into some of the important aspects when it comes to business proposal. Let's move on to the next slide. Now, there are about few things where it generally talks about the different elements or different components of business proposal. It should include these, and the first page obviously is a title page. Now, this title page includes basic information like your company's name, contact information, your company logo, and possibly if it can have in a small letter your client's name and their contact information. It makes the proposal look neat and organized when you put all things in together. The standard structure of this information goes a little something like this. Post the first page, you would have a cover letter. Now, What is this cover letter? It's a small document immediately after the title page. A cover letter is the introduction, which can include a one-liner about your company, a brief background about your organization, a little about how your company came to be or how it started, and a short overview of what makes your company better than the rest. Let's make this proposal, the cover letter of the proposal, to be very friendly and encouraging every reader to go through it. And if they have questions, they can probably come back to you. This cover letter should close with a thank you and a signature. Now, a cover letter is required when you are looking out to do business with your clients. If you're not looking out for a proposal to do business with your clients or your suppliers or your partners, then you need not to include a cover letter. Generally the first page, and then we straight away get into the table of contents. But if you're looking to do business with one or the other partner or a new vendor or a new supplier, in that case a cover letter should be there. Next we move on to the table of contents. Now most of you know what is the table of contents include. Uh, it should include the outline form of your report. This generally helps the reader to know what they can expect to find the document. And by sending it electronically, you can create a clickable table of contents. These days, what you see in a PDF document, you just click onto the table of content, it takes you to that particular page immediately. So it is a clickable table of contents, so that your potential client can easily revisit sections without having to navigate through multiple pages. So table of contents these days, with the help of technology, has moved to the next level. The next is executive summary, which many a times we have spoken in the form of business reports. We have spoken about executive summary. During the SIP reports, we have spoken about the executive summary. So executive summary is something which is very, very important, especially after going through the case study. You students should be aware of what is the executive summary all about. Now, what does this do is it sets the scene for the proposal. The client who is going through your proposal through this executive summary will get to know why are you sending this proposal to him and why does the client want to read it. It also makes a mention of company's offerings to your client's problems and to make it more relevant and engaging. Your own executive summary will shift depending on the duties you are performing for the client. Now, what kind of industry you are in and what kind of industry they are in. Your tone might also change. If you are targeting a young travel startup run by a college graduate, your tone would be completely different for him. And if you are targeting someone who is already a well set uh, business, your tone would be completely different there. We move on to the proposal. What does this proposal talk about? This section outlines the solution that you are suggesting. Now, here is where the catch is all about. Now, whatever the clients might have issues and they might have problems, they might have difficulties. And here is where you are trying to give them a solution to that particular problem through your proposal. Now, if I have to take an example, a simplest example, if you are empaneling yourself as one of the vendors for supplying human resource to the client, then you will have to outline the important section that how fast are you able to get a candidate for that particular company. So, or you have a pool of resourceful candidates with you who are potentially looking out for a job and they can serve your client in a very short span of time and they can join them. Or if the client is looking out for contract staffing or temporary staffing, and how is that your proposal is going to outline the solution for that particular problem of the client, where you're going to suggest measures that how you are going to reach or how you are going to make these employees to work for a particular specific period with that client of yours. Here, generally, what is anticipated in the proposal is describe the outcome of the project and a general time frame. Also address the client's needs and let them know that you are one of for the job who can do a lot of things. Let's look into the next slide of business proposal. The first one is the service or the methodology. What is that you're going to describe here is what deliverables that can they expect, and when can they expect them. Now, deliverables are the ones which you are showing as a result, and what expectation does a client have about it, and when they can expect them to be completed. A timetable that pairs the deliverables with their expected date makes your document more visually appealing and makes this information more digestible. Now, let me take an example. If you say that I am going to provide human resource for the client on a particular skill set like a .NET, I will say that in the market, there are a lot of people who will provide you with 45 days or say 60 days of time gap, that is the lead time. But I'm going to provide you a resource on board in a span of 30 to 45 days. Now, when I pair my result, that is the result is I'm going to give you a candidate and I'm going to empanel with you, but simultaneously I am giving you a timetable also that the expected time is less than the standard market time. In that case, it makes the document more appealing for the client, and your client is willing to speak to you on this front. The next aspect is about us. When you have written the cover letter, obviously there is a lot of information which talks about your organization. But here in this section, you get to really show off what makes your company the best in the business. Make it feel like your potential client is getting to know your organization by including brief biodata and photos of the people they are going to work with. Include information about your past success, awards, if any, social proof in the form of testimonials given by your clients or short case studies which has been done by you guys. Please do make a mention here about in the about us section. Let's move on to the next, the pricing. This is the section where specifics are the key. Now, when I say specifics, I do mean that you need to be very precise of what is that you're going to charge your client. Create a pricing that clearly identifies each product or a service and pair it with the most accurate pricing information you can provide. You don't want to overestimate the cost and scare your potential client off with an estimate that's too very high, but you also don't want to underestimate the cost and set your client up with unexpected pricing issues down the line. So make sure that you are very specific when it comes to the pricing and clearly identify what is the market price and what is that you are giving it. Responsive pricing tables let the potential clients check off prices that they think they need and calculate the total cost for them, so that neither of you have to worry about the errors when number crunching happens. So when you are giving out the price, make sure that the what you might be giving about 4 or 5 services, the client might be interested in maybe 1 or 2 services. In that case, responsive pricing table is the best which suits, and based on that you give a proposal which suits your client and not everything which is on board. The next is terms and condition. Here you need to be very specific again, and you need to be also clear about the duration of the agreement. Supposedly this agreement exists for the next 3 months, next 6 months, next 1 year. You need to tell them that very clearly. What are the terms and condition? You need to also come up with the overall timetable for completion. If the task is given to you, if the empanelment has been done with the client, the timetable for completion of particular work, and specify the payment dates and types. If you want a payment to be given by every 31st or say 5th, these things should be there in the terms and conditions. Uh, Again, you will also have to make sure that when and how the proposal can be amended. If any amendments are to be made, you need to tell your client in the business proposal in the form of terms and condition that when can a particular amendment be done if needed. Essentially, it's an overview of what you and the client are promising by agreeing to the proposal. This section will likely be standard among most of the proposals your company sends. So store it in a content library to simplify the process of dropping it in your future templates. We speak of the last one, that is agreement and CTA. Here CTA means copyright transfer agreement. Now the agreement which you are signing is signed by you as well as it has been signed by the client of yours. And if there are any copyright which has to be transferred, you also need to sign those documents. And meanwhile, keep a copy with you as well as share the same copy. A true copy of it has to be made, and the copy should be shared with the client of yours, so that both of you are on a similar lines. And whenever somebody needs to go through it, can probably go through it. And this document has to be signed by both. That is, as I said some time back, you need to sign it as well as your client also has to sign it with a date mentioned on it. That's it. We're done with the business proposal. And if you have any questions for me, please do talk to me, and please do WhatsApp me, please do email me, or please do call me as and when you are comfortable. Thank you.